Hey, what is going on, Leos? Butch Tarot here. I am going to do your 1 week read. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. With all that being said, let's get it. Universe, what message do we have for Leos? What's going on for Leos? All right, Leos. So, the first thing I see is I feel like there's already this connection. You know, I feel like there's this person that you have a connection with. I mean, I don't really feel like it's done much of follow through here. But what I see is I feel like the connection's obvious. You know, it's one of those connections where a blind person could see it. You know, I mean, I feel like it's as obvious as the sun in the sky. You know, and that's where we start. Like I said, I don't feel like this has developed into anything. Yet. And I use that word very, very present tense. I mean, with this person, you know, I feel like great conversation. You know, you really easy to talk to this person. You know, with that eight of wands, we got the Knight of Wands as well. That Sagittarius energy. I feel like this. You know, there's definitely chemistry. You know, this isn't just we're talking to talk. We're talking, and I feel like it's kind of like this back and forth. I don't want to say game because that makes it sound like there's some malicious energy here. But I do feel like it is a game. You know, I feel like it's you're getting to know each other. You know, and kind of without any kind of labels. You know, there's definitely the very flirtatious energy involved in it. So obviously more than just, it's obvious there's something going on between you that's more than just a friendship. More than just polite conversation. I mean, there's something real happening here. But, I'm sorry, there's a but. We got the Seven of Swords. How they really feel, I feel like we don't know that yet. That's where the complication lies in this. It's like, whoa, you know there's something going on. You know it's obvious. But is it obvious to them? You know, because it feels like they're hiding something from you. They're holding back something. And if they felt the way you felt, what would they be holding back? Now, I'll let you in on a secret. to save you from self-destructing over the next few minutes, they do feel the same way. It's very obvious to them as well. But I don't know why I'm coming up with all these buts. The reason why this person seems so closed off, we have the Eight of Swords, that self-imposed prison, and we have the Nine of Swords, that sleepless nights, that anxiety. I feel like you intimidate this person. No. I feel like this energy intimidates them. There's this connection that they feel toward you that they can't explain. They don't really understand it. It's not that they don't understand why they're connected to you. They don't understand why they feel this connected. Because like I said, I don't feel like anything's really come of this yet. And I feel like with this person, they know exactly what they want. I feel like this person is already all in. And I feel like that intimidates them. It's very intimidating to them. Because they never felt this way before. And partly it is you, but the other part is how strongly they feel towards you. I mean, they know what they want with that two of wands. And with that, like I said, with the Fool, I mean, they're already in. They already know where they want to be. And I mean, it's causing an internal struggle within this person. They know what they want. Absolutely. And like I said, I mean, that chemistry that you feel, that's not a type of chemistry you can get on one side. This is definitely on both sides. I mean, we got new love with the Ace of Cups, and we got that Lover's card. I mean, the Lover's card, like I always like to say, it's that iceberg love. We know it's there. It's very clearly there. But how deep it goes, that's still debatable. That's still unseen. But like I said, I mean, this person, they're just having a hard time trusting themselves. It really has nothing to do with you. I mean, I just feel like this person, that internal struggle is within this person is they feel drawn to you in a way they never felt drawn to anyone before. And that physical energy, it's like, it's like a pot boiling over. It can't help itself. It's got to go somewhere. I mean, I feel like you're going to be surprised how real this is for them. Them holding back is more of a self-preservation. And it's not something, I mean, this person doesn't want to hold back. I just feel like they are because they feel like it's the safest play for them. But that won't last long. I mean, I feel like this person wants to nurture this. They want to see where it goes. They want to be with you. We have that page of cups as well. I mean, this person's fantasizing about you. This person is thinking about you when you're not around. And that's the thing. I mean, you can only hold this type of energy back so long. I mean, this is like that twin flame, soulmate type energy. I mean, the connection that you have with this person, it's obvious, like I said. And sometimes it doesn't play out as quickly as we would like. But I see this playing out. I see this happening. I see this moving forward. I mean, we got forward movement. I mean, this person with a chariot, we got forward movement. They want you. That's not debatable. They need you. Also not debatable. The only issue here is them trusting themselves. And a lot of people get held back with that. You know, I mean, this person wants to reach out and grab you. And I feel like that's where this is going. I mean, they're happy. And they want, you know, the happiness they feel around you, they want it. It's contagious. They want more of it. And they want to give that to you as well. You know, and I feel like you're both going to have your happily ever after. You know, I just, like I said, sometimes people, especially people that never felt this type of connection, it's hard to really grasp it. You know, it's like if somebody, you know, it reminds me of like my grandmother, okay? A funny story. I was playing video games when I was younger, and I remember my grandmother came over, and she came in my room. She's like, "What are you doing?" And that's my grandmother's voice, by the way. What are you doing? She looked at my TV, and she's like, totally baffled. You know, and I mean, my grandmother watched Little House on the Prairie, you know, the Jeffersons, you know, Bonanza. That was pretty much her experience with TV. And to know a TV could do what it was doing in front of her, I don't even know what I was playing. I think I was playing Mario Kart. And she thought that was the coolest thing ever. She didn't even know it existed. You know, and that's what I mean. Like sometimes when something we're you know, something in front of us, even though it's there, sometimes it takes a minute for us to grasp it, to really understand that it's really there. And like I said, I feel like this person has their own trust issues within themselves. I mean, they know what they want. Like I said, it's a little self-preservation. You know, trying to like really understand it. But you already got them. You know, you already hooked them. All that's left now is reeling it in. You sunk the hook. Like I said, with that type of physical energy like that you feel with this person, there's a reason why it feels that way. There's a reason why it feels like it's so much more, because it is. And like I said, I mean, there's a little bit of fear, there's a little internal struggle within this person. I'm going to go on a limb and say that I feel like this is the first time this person's ever felt truly in love. And I mean, with that, I mean, it's got to afford some patience for some people, because the thing is we never know what that feels like until we know what it feels like. And people react very differently when that happens. But you're not wrong. I mean, with this person, we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We have Gemini, Aquarius. We have some Cancer and some Scorpio. You know, it's something that, now, how do I say this? It's more, as a man, I feel like it's more of a male thing. You know, I feel like women can accept love a little bit easier than men. I'm not saying all do. I'm not putting everybody in a gender box. But I feel like from the cases that I've, you know, seen, people that I've heard, personals I've done, just conversations with my friends, men have a hard time not accepting love, but admitting accepting love. Does that make sense? It's almost like a lot of men, and we chalk it up to like we'll chalk it up to a little bit of toxic masculinity if we want to give it a real reason. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's hard to accept love, accept that you're in love. Not so much accepting love, but accepting that you're in love. And what I mean by that is, I can feel like with Rose in my relationship, I loved her long before I told her. And it took me a while to accept it. That I had to say something, that I had to, take myself to a place where I'm vulnerable. Because when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, the way I think of it in my head, and I don't know, this may sound crazy, it's like you're walking around with armor. Like, the old suit of armors, the metal, the knights used to wear a whole suit of armor. You feel protected. It's going to take a lot for something to get through. It's when you take that off, you allow yourself to take it off and open yourself to someone, and just, you're in a place where you're vulnerable, where something can happen to you now. But that's the thing. I mean, if you don't let yourself be vulnerable, you can't really accept someone completely. Until a place of vulnerability, that's when you can absorb the love. You can accept it. And that suit of armor, in this case, is what I'm talking about, is love is hitting it, but it ain't getting in. That's how I look at it anyway. I mean, I feel like you got to feel really safe to take that armor off. And when you're with the person you're meant to be with, that you should feel safe. That should be your safe place. That should be the place where you can walk around without that armor, because that shit gets heavy. And always being on guard, that's a lot for a person. And your safe place should be a place where you don't have to wear that armor. And I feel like sometimes, now, like I said, not just men, but from my experience, the higher percentage is men that have a hard time taking that armor off. And not to say women are protective of their vulnerability. The women are protective, and they we all have walls that we put up to protect ourselves. I'm not saying women don't have that. I'm just saying with men, from my experience, and I can't really speak from a female perspective because I've never been female. But let me know in the comments. I mean, do you think it's easier for a woman or a man to be vulnerable? Or to accept love and, give love? I mean, like I said, with me, she told me long before I told her. And even after she told me, that started to, like, kind of open me up to the thing, okay, well, she's saying it to me. And it's almost like I got to work through the process. Now I got to, okay, she said it. Now does she mean it? And it's so much. But I've never been in love before her. She was my first and more than likely my last. And I'm okay with that. But it's hard to open yourself up. But in order to experience true love, I feel like you have to be vulnerable. You have to get to a place where, but again, if you get to that place with someone and you don't think you can get there, you don't want to be vulnerable, you can't open yourself to be vulnerable to that person, it could be a sign that that's not the right person. Or you're too protective of yourself. Like I said, with me, it took me a while. I felt it. I felt the love. I knew that I loved her. But putting it out in the real world, that real world, that was an adventure. I don't regret it. You know, sometimes I think to myself, I could have said it earlier, but I wasn't ready earlier. I feel like you should say it when you're ready. But if you're never ready, we got to look into that. Why are you never ready? If you can't get to a place where you can trust that person, we have to start looking into reasons why we can't trust that person, or why we think that we can't trust that person. But like I said, being vulnerable is very hard. Because once you become vulnerable, you're susceptible. No, that's not even a word. You're open. You're opening yourself up to, two scenarios. You get hurt really bad, or you know, you experience the most joy you could ever experience. And that's a risk. Like that old saying goes, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. I'm full of quotes today. I don't know. It's just the way I think sometimes. I think that it's hard sometimes to open yourself up. And another thing is too, and one of the things I feel like with her, for an example, the hardest part for me to open up to her was because I could never figure out what she saw in me. So in that sense, I was like, she said she loved me, but how could she truly love me? What is it that causes her to love me? And that, I mean, I've never thought that way. But with her, I thought that way. I think, what is she seeing me? Like, what is she doing with me? So it made it harder for me to believe that she actually loved me. But that was on me. At the end of the day, that's on me. That has nothing to do with her. So that's the thing. Sometimes the biggest battle is in between our ears. Anyway, I could go on about this forever. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.